I can't be the only one with the lists. Lots of lists. Feel free to drop in the comments if you know what half those flowers are. I only know a couple. So on today's list are planting out some of our vegetables. I already turned the compost. I already did the leeks. I planted those out yesterday. And a few onions. Leeks you want to plant deeply but loosely. It kind of is a blanching method. You want that stalk to have enough room to expand, and keeping it from the sun gives you that white stem that's more tender. With onions, on the other hand, you do not bury stalk deep. You want to keep that bulb really close to the surface. You want it to get bigger on the surface. It was sunnier before, but the clouds have rolled in now. It's low 60s, about 16 Celsius, and not as windy as yesterday, which is nice. So it's a good day to plant. The notes tell me that I want to get my celery in a shadier area than my alliums, which I'm putting in full sun as much as possible. And then I had gotten the pak choi in last week. They were sizing up, so I got them out. And now I'm working on the rest of the greens, the tatsoi, spinach. This should be, Swiss chard, and the bok choy over there. And it's, like I mentioned in the previous video, not the best winter sowing scenario. I mean, these did really well. I did at least 5, and only 2 really healthy ones coming out of that one. And the Swiss chard, it may still be too early, so these 2 I'll transplant and leave the others. And spinach, I thought spinach was faster than this, but I'm having a very slow time with spinach. I might actually leave those. We'll see. We'll see what we have room for and whatnot. I must be really blind, because when I planted these in, I had a nice pattern, a square pattern, and now looks like a crazy person planted this. Anyway, on to the rest. I'm spacing these about 4 to 6 inches apart. They could be closer, especially if you're following the square gardening method. But I know that if you space them a little bit more, they don't compete for resources and they get a little bit bigger. So I want to do that as much as possible. I am removing some excess soil. You don't have to, I just like to. So it's either snip up the weaker plant, or there is trying to tease the roots apart and planting all of them. Which would you have done? All right, I will leave the small ones without true leaves yet. All right, celery. And this celery is definitely not for snacking. It's mainly for cooking. And I still have plenty of space for additional greens or whatever else comes in. Yay, I've done it. I planted a bed. That's awesome. Next is the rest of the onions. And also I have the frost cover ready and set to go. Honestly, it's been here all winter. Just in case we have the most definite frost advisory. It's there if it's necessary. So I'm walking through and I'm seeing volunteer lettuces that's coming up from the seeds that just fell from the plant. There's lots of them. And some will be sacrificed. We'll try to save some. I put up the fence, just it's just standing freely in case the deer population comes back up. It looks like it has really come down this year because of that virus that went around. But in case we do get them coming back, and I want to make sure they're deterred from whatever ends up growing in this space. But the onions I'm gonna put on the outside of this because I'm pretty sure they're not gonna go after onions. I hope. Yeah, so that's the plan for the onions, is on the border of the fence on the south side. I have Utah yellow, red onion, and a New York yellow. Do I have a New York? Nope, that's a red. And nope, that's a Utah. Nope, I guess the New York ones are going to the plant sale. So I just have the Utah and the reds. So I'll just plant those out. This soil's a lot different. It has not been turned, and I'm finding certainly its fair share of grubs. I should be saving these for the chickens, right? Instead of throwing them willy-nilly. But this is next to the septic field, so it's a little bit sandier of a soil, which is kind of good. There's also a lot of roots, either from trees or invasive species. So I dug up about 13 grubs here, and at this stage all the larvae look the same, so Japanese beetles or any variety of beetles. They'll come out later on in the season. So I dug about 8 feet line for my onions. Can you imagine how many grubs there are in any given space? Oh my god. But anyway, I'm giving these to the chickens, and they can have a lovely time with them. Blech. Ooh, go away. Alright, now to the real task at hand. Guess we'll start with the Utah. Oh, maybe I should treat the soil. Let me get some. I have some leftover 5-10-5 slow release granule fertilizer, so I'm gonna just spread that out and mix it in. It's so old, I don't remember who I got it from, but it's expired, or whatever that may be. 8/20/20. So nice, the onions are so forgiving, because definitely rough them up. I don't know, it's better to let the soil dry or moisten it first to tease out the roots easier. And these had gotten a trim a few days ago, or they would be super tall by now. I'm gonna try the spooning method out this year, later on in the season, when the bulbs start developing. See if that actually does result in larger bulbs. Oh, the sun's out. Yay. Getting a little chilly there. Now, planting in the midday heat of the sun, not the best idea. I didn't think the sun was coming out again today. The forecast said not, that it wasn't. We'll make the best of it. Alright, I have one more container, about 10 in there. These are really small. No, they're not too bad. I'm going to have to dig another trench, but I'm going to wait till the sun disappears again. I got to water these in anyway, so let's do that. That line is not too bad, if I do say so myself. So Sean and Luke reminded me, or pushed me to plant this, but it's Bree the plant lady that showed me how on a small scale, and I probably didn't buy enough seeds, but this is experimental, so it is what it is. So this is just its temporary home until it's consistently warm enough. I have a large tote waiting, ready and waiting for when the season changes. Right now this is just compost and a lot of fluid, very muddy, and I tried my best to sift out the bugs, but it's really unavoidable. So hopefully they don't crawl out into the house when I bring this in at night. And if you're not familiar with those names, let me know and I will point you in the right direction. There's pill bugs and centipede looking ones, and I think I kept most of the worms out, but there might be a couple under there too. So we're gonna refresh some of our potted soil from last year. Alright, I'm gonna get some perlite, vermiculite, and a little bit of worm compost. Get that all sorted out. So we got about a third vermiculite, a third perlite, 3 parts worm casting, and a dash of coffee grounds from this morning. That might be a lot more than necessary. I'll get me some more soil somewhere. Get some more buckets I can dump in here. Got some pots filled up for future seeds. These are where the semi-invasives are going to live. This one's just a baby. I'm not sure if it's a good idea to transplant, but I'm just gonna do it. And the worst that could happen is it gets eaten, which would suck. That would really suck. Alright, that is the artichokes planted. Sweet. Well, that was the most productive weekend I've had in a long time. Usually you only get like Saturday and then Sunday the weather turns. So happy to have gotten so much accomplished. There were some seeds I wanted to sell, but I've run out of steam and I'm just done. So that'll wait tomorrow, the next day. I'm officially 3 weeks out from my plant sale. I feel semi-confident. There's enough there to get me going. 3 weeks is enough time for the plants to come into their own. Hopefully nothing catastrophic happens till then. Otherwise, I hope you also had a productive weekend. And I will talk to you all again soon. Bye.